Good evening, guys. Hope you're all good. What a day yesterday. Trump's tariffs sending the markets into craziness. On yesterday's video, we were talking about a potential breakout here. We knew it was coming, it was close. Our video title was saying the next target is going to hit very, very soon. And what we got was a straight flush up, right up into here. Now, bear in mind, the liquidation levels aren't exact, but it's right up into there and just under that liquidation level. So we've had the move play out, but we were a bit suspicious because we're saying this is still flat out. We need to see this move up. If that wicks up, if that drives right up and there's no volume behind it, we can't trust it, and it's most likely going to come down for a retest. But what happened, it was straight right up, and then everyone jumped in long there. So the market had no option but to flush that straight back down. So we got extreme volatility on such extreme, big, heavy news, which is normal. That's why most day traders won't trade in the markets in these big events, because everyone gets stopped out top and bottom. So let's break out what is going on right now. Right, how is everyone feeling? Is everything gonna end? What's the crack here? But look, Bitcoin is surprisingly holding up incredibly well here. If you look at the S&P 500, it's down 4%. If you look at the Nasdaq, it's down 4%, 4.5%. You look at the Russell, that's down almost 6%. And Bitcoin is sitting at minus 0.2%. It hasn't moved. It's weird. Look at gold, sitting there. So gold and Bitcoin have not... You've obviously had the flush up and flush down on the liquidations, but apart from that, the momentum carrying on, like S&P 500 and Nasdaq, the stocks are all just dumping. But Bitcoin and gold have steadied themselves. Now, what does this mean? I don't know, but this is what happens. When we have huge news like this, and price hasn't broke down on that swing low, there is no need to be scared right now. You should be bullish, because this is something setting up. If it breaks down here, then we can open up options and start talking about there. But if we've just had this crazy tariff news that's going to end the world, and Bitcoin hasn't even budged from where it was a couple of days ago, this is very bullish. This is very bullish. I mean, you would expect price to just dump straight through that. But why is it not? What's happening? So this is something we need to look into, because all the news is saying right now is tariff, tariff, tariff. Everything's going down. But let's just go straight back into where we go to. The bullish head and shoulders on Bitcoin. From last bull run, breakout, retest, and look at that. If you didn't hear the news, if you didn't hear anything from the news, and you're looking at this retest here, would you be selling off all your assets right now? If you just looked at that pattern right now and just said, head and shoulders, breakout, retest, and it's higher than it was in the retest, and you're just going to say, I'm going to sell everything, everything's over. This is so key to when investing and trading, is to separate the mind from the media of just everything's going down, everything's panicking, blah, blah, blah. And you need to just look at the bullish structure. You need to look at the charts and see this is just a breakout, a retest, move up, and it's floating around. Now this chart is from 2000, it starts in 2001. So it's not going to just wick straight up like that. If you looked at that, sorry guys, if you just looked at that, it's not just going to go straight up like that. It takes time, it builds up, it comes down, it might curl a wee bit. Something like that. But structure is being held here. Bitcoin on the daily is looking so decent compared to what is going on right now. And we had her straight up and straight back down, which isn't good. But the amount of liquidations that happened in there, it was going to happen. It was just the volatility of the move. But we got that move, like predicted, straight up. But now we need to work out what's going on next. Like, where are things going to go? So let's get into the charts. So we've got the charts here. Let's get into the liquidation levels. So on the 7-day, there's now more people betting price is going to go down. Everyone's getting short. So what's going to happen here? Let's have a look. We've got price down a little bit. You know, what's the possible options? Might come down, take this extra bit here, come down to about 80, and then that will take the liquidations out for the last 7 days. You know what I mean? It's like, what? So it's, everything's been liquidated, and then we can maybe start making the move up because everything's taken on the downside. Now that you can see it here, sorry guys, I normally just jump around between the browsers, but I'm now using the TradingView program because I don't know what's happened to the browser. If you watched my video yesterday, it does not seem to be working. But you can see these spikes here. You can take this liquidity, that'll be the last of that move done. You can see that wee spike there coming up in the last couple of days. So that'll make sense. So let's just open up the bigger picture. Let's start getting a view because we looked at the macro and the technical. It's come right up in the last week and it's taken all that liquidity. Boom, shot right up, taken it all and dumped down. Looking good. But what is very, very interesting is, you'll see it, I think, better. You can see this liquidity up here, right? Let me go on to the monthly. I think the monthly might show it better. Now, this is a little nuances of things. This is like, you know, a lot of people will say, no, not a lot of people say, but a lot of people look at this and be, they just, price goes up to the yellow line, price goes down, just like a magnet, easy. But there's little nuances to it. Now look at this. Price has come right up here and did not take that liquidity. It did not take that. So it was right on the doorstep and decided, I'm going to leave it there. And it leaves it there because it wants to build it up. It's not happy with the yellow sitting at 180. You know, that's across the board here. Now it's come down. It's sitting at 180, sorry. It wouldn't have been happy whatever value it was there. But now that short's come down, that is increased dramatically. And each one of those, you know, look at that. It's just 170, 116, 155, 100. You know, it's like a ton there to be taken now. We've got a wee bit of level there to take, but that is there for the taking. And what I believe might have happened is just the crazy pop up and pop down of the tariffs. I think the dust is going to settle. We need the dust to settle just to let this find its footing again, because it's just like, imagine someone just came up to you and just shook you, you know, 100 times. You'd just be kind of like, let me just sit down for a minute and figure out where I am, you know what I mean? So we've had the straight up move, straight down, and price is just figuring out where we are. We can see people are heavy short. It's got that liquidation up there, you know, and price is holding. Price is holding when everything else is dumping. It's fascinating. Unless price is breaking down here, I cannot believe it hasn't gone down further on this news, considering everything else is selling off. This is so bullish. Now, is it going to take a couple of days? This is why I'm saying let the dust settle, because it might just be a lag of 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and then boom, then it might go down, something along those lines. We don't know how the market's going to go. But right now, everything's selling off, and Bitcoin's just standing where it was a couple of days ago, which is madness. Now, there's something I need to show you. So we've talked about the longs, we've talked about the liquidation levels, talked about Bitcoin holding up in the news, we've talked about Bitcoin and gold not even budging. Let's get into the 2-year and the 10-year. Now, this is about interest rates, guys. look what's happening. Look is what's happening to these interest rates. This is a 2-year. Now, this is the bond market, and this is the yield for the bond market on the 2-year. There, I hope you can see this, guys. Let me just see if I can adjust a few things here, try and get this lined up for you. Sorry guys, this is going to take a wee bit longer. There we are. So hopefully you can see this. So, the Fed, in this pink line, I'll make it white, hopefully that looks a bit better. This white line is the Federal Reserve interest rate. They've hiked it up, they paused it, and they've flushed it down. Now, they can only make a decision every 6 weeks or however long they do the FOMC meeting. They release the interest rate and then they do a press conference after. You know, anyone who's in the markets know this. But the 2-year yield moves before the Federal Reserve can, because this is a live market. This is every day, always constantly taking information and adjusting what price and repricing everything with all the information it is, whereas the Federal Reserve can only reprice every, 1 to 2 months. So what you'll find is the 2-year yield will lead the Federal Reserve. And what's happened? Look, 2-year yield, off it goes, straight up, reacting before the Fed has a chance to react, and the Fed starts reacting. And you can see it rounding off. And then the Fed started rounding off. Then you can see it dumping down. And then the Fed started dumping down. Then you can see it flatten. And then the Fed started flatten. So you can see the 2-year yield on the live market, it leads the Fed. Because these guys are looking at the same information as the Fed is. They're just able to react quicker. Now, let's get into it here. So we've had the pause. And now, high, lower high, lower high. And price is starting to flush heavy down. Look, this is on the weekly. These tariffs were announced. It's already broken down on the channel. Straight broke. Flushed, chopped around a little bit and started dumping on this. So what does this tell us? The Federal Reserve is going to start cutting rates. And it's most likely on the back of the tariffs. Now, is this what Trump wanted? I don't know, but he knows fine well if he ramps up them tariffs, the rates are going to cut, and the Fed wasn't going to cut the rates for Trump. You remember, he was saying, you better cut the rates, but they were standing independent saying, that's not happening. So, I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but throw up a load of tariffs, scare the life out of the market, price starts dumping, and now automatically people start pricing in the yield dropping. Now this will lead the Federal Reserve. Now let's look at the 10-year yield. Right guys, who's been watching the channel since the early doors? Because you would have seen me, let me just get rid of this, sorry guys, I'm trying to adjust. I put these on the, must have been one of the, late January, it must have been one of the first videos. That if price goes up and goes down, retest and pushes up, this ain't good, we're in trouble. But I made these green arrows back in the day. Hit the comment, boys, if anyone remembers them. Comes down, bounce up, and flush down. And that's the way price has fallen. So this is the 10-year yield. This is also showing price, the Fed. This is basically the Fed will be cutting interest rates. This is what's going to be coming from it. Now, on a head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and it's named like that for the obvious reason of how it looks very roughly like a pointy person. But you can do a measured move here. So, you take the top of the head to the neckline, and then you take that down there and you stick that on here from where it breaks out. And you get the measured move. So, price breaks down, that should come down to 3.4%. So, you're going to see some rate cuts from the Federal Reserve that should take it down to something around there. So, on the craziness of all this tariff, everyone's selling off. We are now shown here as a leading indicator, Federal Reserve is going to start cutting rates. Once they start cutting rates, they are injecting a huge amount of money into the system. They're freeing it up. And then what do we also have? Now, if we go back onto the daily, we've also got global liquidity. Now, we are going to start finding out which one is which. We've got the 77-day. It's come down. Now, this doesn't show you the forgive me because the chart's looking a bit cluttered here, but bear with us. Hopefully you guys can see. I'll tell you what, if I turn that, is that better for you guys? Yeah. Price comes down, which is done. It's popped up, which is done, and it's going to come down. So in the next couple of days, if this just a couple of days and then off it goes, we're going to likely follow this one. Now, price comes down like it has, it chops around, and then starts dropping. It looks like we're in with the 105. So if you look at them, they're starting to diverge. They're starting to go in their own directions, and this is when we will see which one is price following. But either way, beginning of April, well, the next couple of days for this one, so let's hope it's ours, or the beginning of May, price Bitcoin's moving out. So if Bitcoin can hold above this, can hold above that red line, with all this bad news, with all the liquidity coming in, with the yields dropping, we're about to see a huge injection into the economy here, and no one is spotting it because everyone is just panicking over these tariffs. Let the dust settle, have a look what's going on in the background, and we can see there's potential big moves coming our way. But we need to see Bitcoin hold above this red line. If it holds above the red line, this has been left there for a reason. The market does not leave this here. It's been left there for a reason to build up, and it's going to come back up to at least scare it. So, things for me, the way I try and see things is like, if I was not even aware of the tariffs, and I was just following this chart, I'm like, okay, it's just been a pop up there, liquidity hunt for the top, everyone's opened up the longs, flush down to take all the longs. Now price is settling and see where we go from there. But everyone is panicking so hard. The fear, we've gone down to extreme fear again. It's like, guys, come on. Come on. Look, we're still holding above the RSI structure. So we're holding in the head and shoulders pattern. We're holding above the RSI structure. We've got a cross, stochastic cross in the weekly, and we're in fear. It's all setting up for a move. But we need to, like I said, we need to let to see how things play out here. Because for me, if Bitcoin can continue to hold up here, it's on. It's on like a massive move. But if it needs a couple of days and then rolls over, then we'll begin to see. So right now, guys, I normally give you a wee idea of what I've got, but I'm just going to let the dust settle for a few days, let the market digest it, and then let the market get back into its normal flow, and I'll be able to pick up the trail again. I can't pick up the trail when it's erratic like this. This is too emotional to track. So we'll let it settle, we'll pick up the trail again, and then we'll start getting in positions again. So guys, if you like this, hit the subscribe button. I mean, at least hit the subscribe button for that call for up there. That's a good one there. Unfortunately, it has came back, but we did say it was going to come up and hit that target very soon. And we're saying that we had to be careful because this isn't ticking up yet. Once it starts ticking up, we can start trusting it. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like, hit the comment, share it along. Get yourself a beer, guys. Let the dust settle. It's complete fear right now. And this is normally good signs. Unless the whole world falls apart, these huge fear moments are just the bottoms, really. It's just the bottoms. Now, how often does the market fall out its arse and the whole world ends? Not often. So if you bet on that, the odds aren't in your favour. If you bet on it, okay, the chances are this is just a whole load of fear, whole load of panic. Something happens, maybe the countries come to them, okay, let's talk about the tariffs, let's negotiate. All of a sudden, a few weeks later, the tariffs have eased off and everyone's made deals and Trump's got what he's wanted and life carries on. So, we'll see how things go. But cheers, guys. I'll see you again, same time tomorrow. Cheers.